That's quite a challenging one, because one, on the payroll side, it really speaks to compliance and making sure that your system is compliant from a legislative perspective, and it really ticks those boxes. And that's where Sage People is really, really powerful, is that you can tailor the solution to your specific needs, but also making sure that you do not compromise or add any risk from a compliance perspective. From an HR perspective, it's a little bit different in that, yes, there are certain compliance requirements from an HR perspective when you're speaking to things like employment equity, BE, from a skills perspective, your workplace skills plan and annual training reports. Yes, it ticks those boxes. But when it comes to HR, there's a more of a focus with regard to your actual workforce, because ideally what you're trying to achieve is to make certain that we get the best out of the people we have under our umbrella. So how do we do that with Sage People as a solution? Is making certain that we are able to do things like performance management, that with this tool, I can manage the performance of my organization, of the employees, and see that there's an improvement, and we can be agile enough to adapt to the ever-changing market as such. So in the past, when it came to performance management, a lot of companies just used it to tick a box because we needed to do increases and we needed something to measure against the increase that we were going to give that particular employee. And sometimes they use it for bonuses as well, that we did a performance review and we said, okay, you were good or you weren't so good, and we're going to give you a 50% bonus, or you're not going to get a bonus, or we can give you a 13th check, and it's dependent on the performance. And that tends to be a very old school way of thinking. And with Sage People, yes, you can do that, because obviously we want to make certain that people use the tools that we have available to them. But many companies have gone the route of having a goal-based way of doing performance, making sure that the manager can have an engagement via employee self-service with an employee to discuss the individual goals for that member of his team, where they both agree upon those goals, because HR doesn't know what every job is within an organization. The managers tend to know what the job is of his or her department, and they have that engagement with the employee and is able to build certain goals that can be measured, over very frequent um, cadence with a particular employee. And inevitably, the messaging then changes. We're not just doing this so that you can get an increase, that you can get a bonus. We're doing this because we want you to be better at the job that you're doing. Because if you are better at the job, you'd love the job that you're doing. By you loving the job that you're doing, inevitably it affects the business in a positive way, that we can grow the business a lot better than ever before. And Sage People brings those tools to the table. When it comes to managing of leave, annual leave especially is very, very important to employees. They want to know how much leave they have. With employee self-service and through Sage People, you're able to know that. You're able to apply for leave well in advance. And for many years I had, still do, I can tell you that women are far more proactive than men. Men tend to be a lot more reactive, and I've had it where somebody's just come back from annual leave and has already maximized all the public holidays for the year ahead. So for with employee self-service, you are able to do that, and you can see what your leave entitlement is. You know when if the leave has been approved or not, and you can cancel leave, on the application itself, to make certain that you are in control of that part of your life as an employee. So it does give the employees tools to engage with the with the organization. You can do claims through there as well, and it really creates a great balance between the employee and the company, and that there is a great relationship with the organization and the employee. And so from our perspective, 300 people is a fantastic tool that really ticks a lot of the boxes from a payroll and HR perspective. And that's the tool that we drive within the market because it speaks to quite a great need. And if it doesn't speak to that need, it has great API capabilities that allows other solutions to be able to integrate into the application. Right now, I'm working on a Mac. Some people say I'm crazy, but I would never have had the Mac if Apple didn't allow Microsoft products to work on the Mac. So even the biggest companies in the world realize that it's important to be able to integrate with other applications to make certain that you grow your organization a lot quicker.